This video is provided by Dynamic Enterprise Technologies. Here's our contact information. I'll be doing a demonstration of installing the Connected Business SDK 19.0. Here's all the requirements. These links work. Of course, Visual Studio can be obtained from Microsoft Developers Network. Visual Studio 2013 SDK can be downloaded from the provided link. GAX 2010 for Visual Studio can be downloaded from the provided link. Developer Express, Dev Express has to be purchased, and it's something like $1,000 per year. And Connected Business 19.0 would be downloaded from your Connected Business account. So I'll now go ahead and do the installation of Visual Studio 2013 Professional. I'll be starting and stopping this video often because there's a lot of time, a lot of steps to go through, but I will be recording the important parts. These are the install options I'm going with. Okay, the install completed. I'll just launch it to make sure that it's working. Okay, the install completed successfully. Now we'll move on to the next step. The next thing we'll do is install the latest service pack of Visual Studio 2013. And I have service pack 4 here. So I'll be installing that. Be aware there's actually the latest to service pack 5, but I'm not going to install that. I'm going to go with service pack 4. But I would recommend going with service pack 5. Okay, update 4 is installing. Okay, update 4 finished. I will just launch it to make sure everything's working okay. Visual Studio started. I'm going to help. About Visual Studio, I can see update 4 there, or as I mentioned previously, you should go with update 5. I will now install Visual Studio 2013 SDK. SDK installed successfully. Now installing the GAX 2010. It's just a file, VXIS, that you click on. Now that was quick, and it's done. Now we need to install DevExpress. So it has to be the exact version specified. You have to purchase it, and after you purchase it, you'll be able to download it. And you'll have a login, and you'll need to log in during the installation to confirm your license. So the instructions say Developer Express DevX Experience. You get all of these files. And I'm not 100% sure if you have to install them all, but I do install these for executables. So I'll go ahead and do that now. I'm going to start from the bottom up, just for the fun of it. I'm going with registered installation. Okay, entered my email and password. And the installation is proceeding. That install finished. I'll go to the next one. I'm selecting I'm leaving all the options selected. I actually canceled the installation of the help because I don't want to use up the disk space. But I'm going ahead and with the remaining ones. And you can see they do have a trial version. I don't know how long the trial lasts. Entered my email and password. Going with all the options. I had to cancel, I had to rearrange my disk space, I had to install on the D drive instead of the C, but all that's been done, and I'm back to where I was, continuing where I left off. I completed DevExpress components, and now I'm installing CodeRush. I had switched to installing on the D drive because I was running short on space on the C. Okay, that finished. DevExpress is installed. And that is the end of the installations. Now I will do some confirmation to make sure everything's installed as expected. Lastly was Connected Business 19.0. I already had that installed previously, so I didn't go through the installation of that, but that would be required. So to confirm what's been installed, we need to start Visual Studio and take a look at some things. Now I'm in Visual Studio. I'm going to Tools, Extensions and Updates. And I'm expecting to see DevExpress and a lot of different pieces for DevExpress. Then I'm expecting to see the GAX 2010 for Visual Studio 13, and I'm expecting to see the Connected Business SDK. Well, I don't see the Connected Business SDK, and that's because I didn't install that piece yet. I'm going to close Visual Studio and notice that these are all the requirements prior to installing Connected Business SDK, so you still have to run an installer for that. So clicking Get Started will trigger that download. I already have it downloaded, so I will run it from my current download. Here it is. It's also a VI or VSIX file. That finished. So now I'm going to start Visual Studio again and make sure that piece is there. I'm going back to Tools, Extensions and Updates, and now I see the Connected Business SDK. Then the last check is to go File, New Project. And go down to Guidance Packages, Connected Business SDK, and you should see these two plugin factory options. So everything looks okay, so I'm not going to go any further in this video, but a couple things to let you know. Actually, one thing to let you know, the location of the SDK when it gets installed. That is the Connected Business SDK. It installs into your user folder. I've drilled into users, my username, app data, local, Microsoft Visual Studio 12 extensions, and then I don't know where it comes up with this name, but there it is. I think it may be different for each installation. So that's the location of the SDK. So what that means is if you have multiple users using the same system, you're going to have to install the SDK for each user because it goes into the user's local app data, not program files. And about that, I'm not sure if that installation, what I just told you about installing to the user file applies to this GAX 2010 for Visual Studio. I kind of think it does, but it definitely applies to Connected Business SDK. And how you can find out is just log in as a different user on the system, go into Visual Studio, check and do Tools Extensions, find out what's there, what's not there, and then you can run the installs for the pieces that are not there, then you'll be good to go. Okay, thank you so much. That's the end of this video, and if you need any assistance with the SDK, feel free to give us a call or send us an email. Thank you.